The Firebirds Fan Zone podcast is brought to you by Kyle Garman Realtor. Whether you're buying or selling, whether for your forever home or that quiet desert vacation getaway, Kyle Garman and the team at Keller Williams have the experience and skill to make the process simple and convenient. Check them out today at kylegarman.kw.com. Our podcast is also brought to you by desertdefenselawyers.com, DUI and criminal defense throughout the Coachella Valley. The criminal justice system is scary and confusing, but relief is just a click away at desertdefenselawyers.com, where we've been keeping folks out of the penalty box since 2008. The Coachella Valley Firebirds are bringing the valley closer together, and the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast is your weekly dose of everything Firebirds. If you have suggestions for guests or questions you'd like answered or anything you want to add, be sure to leave them in the comments. If you like what you hear, please remember to hit that like button for this episode and be sure to subscribe. So if you're ready, here we go. Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1.
Firebirds goal! Scoring his 13th goal of the playoff. The captain, number 17, Max McCormick, assisted by number 19, Cameron Hughes. Welcome to the Firebirds Fan Zone with your hosts, David and Kyle.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's really great to see you were prophesizing.
Yep, take
All
two.
right. In the words of the can I say inimitable? In the words of the inimitable Steve Harvey, we got a good one for you today.
We got a great one.
We are sitting with Kole Lind.
Yeah, the man,
And
the myth,
he
the
is
legend.
the man, and someday to be the legend. Right now, just the man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But welcome. Glad you're here. Good to have you here.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit before we started. We know you have not listened to the show yet. It's all good. Our feelings aren't hurt. I'm not even remotely offended by that fact at all. I was going to give you a wristband after, but now we might not. Haven't decided.
No, we will.
We will. All right. We will.
He's here, man.
Listen. First of all, this show is primarily for and about the fans, right?
Yep.
We're trying to give the kind of pull the curtain back on the fan experience.
For sure.
So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. You got time? You got any place to be?
I got time. Yeah.
All right, good. We're going to spend some time. So tell us about you. Where are you from? Just give us that whole bio thing that we always got to do.
Yeah.
First.
I'm from Shaunavon, Saskatchewan, a small town in Canada. I grew up there with my mom, dad, and I have 3 siblings, 2 sisters and a brother. And basically, right from the womb, we were all hockey players. I think I started skating when I was 2, maybe.
Seems to be the common age.
Yeah, my parents had me in skates, and then from there, it just kind of, I'm the oldest, and then I had 2 sisters next, and then my little brother, and we're all pretty successful hockey players for our ages right now, and yeah, it's just exciting.
So pretty successful. We know how successful you are. Where's your siblings? Where are they skating?
Yeah, my sisters, my one played Canadian college hockey. My other plays Division 1. She's the captain at St. Cloud State.
In Minnesota?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then my brother is playing junior for the Red Deer Rebels.
Go Rebels.
Last year he was
Reds.
drafted 2nd round by the Nashville Predators, actually. So
Your brother?
Yeah.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
So you really are hockey. Was your dad or your mom? Are they?
No, not really. They definitely had us playing all sports. They were never high-level players at anything, but I think right from
Neither were we.
What was your, outside of hockey, what other sports were you in?
younger, it was a lot of baseball for me.
What position?
Either shortstop or catcher and pitcher sometimes. Obviously, when you're younger, it's a little bit different.
Yep.
But, yeah, I played baseball up until I was 14 years old or so. Played, like, all the Little League stuff and, did all the tournaments. And
You said it's a small town, so were you traveling far to play other teams?
In the summertime, I would play summer hockey with, like, a spring hockey team that was, kind of the higher-end guys throughout the province. And then with that team, lots of us would play on a baseball team based out of that city too, that we would practice hockey, go practice baseball, and then go back to the rink later at night. Wow. And then, obviously.
So not a lot of TV watching for you?
No.
Yeah.
So was it a lot of the same guys then playing baseball, playing hockey?
Yeah, I would say there's 7 or 8 guys probably that played on the hockey team, that played on the baseball team too.
Nice.
And then I just played whatever the house sports or house league, whatever you call it, in Saskatchewan with my hometown team.
You mean hockey?
Baseball too.
Baseball, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How's yeah.
Yeah, not-
But then when I traveled to Regina to play hockey, that's where I'd play the more competitive baseball. Not that it wasn't competitive, it was just the higher end players.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. But then hockey became. When did hockey then started to become one of those? Because I know a lot of multi-sports guys,
Yep.
and then they get to a certain age, a certain level, and they start realizing that's the path that they're going to start taking. Because I know there's also a lot of baseball players that are football players, or pitchers, or quarterbacks. So at what point did you start to fork off into, like, hockey's going to be my thing?
Probably 12 or 13, I would say. I was pretty young. But once I got drafted into the WHL, I kind of had a pretty clear vision of what I wanted to do.
How old were you when that happened?
14, I think.
So you knew this was...
Yeah, once I got drafted to the WHL, I definitely wanted to commit to hockey. I still continued to play with my friends back home in Shaunavon, playing baseball. But, yeah, definitely hockey became more of a focus around that 12 to 14 age.
At some point right around there, did you come to realize that, shit, I'm kind of better than all these guys? Or was that not how it was?
No, I
don't mean better. I just mean...
You started to
I
separate.
got the gift.
I was definitely more advanced. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Great word.
Definitely one of the better players. And, yeah, I mean, just from playing spring hockey with the higher end guys in the summertime, and then going back to playing in Swift Current, where it was the competitive team, but we weren't one of the high end teams. I knew that, I would have to carry a load for that team and, try to, score a bunch of goals basically to help the team win. And with all of that, I think that's kind of when I started to realize that I was one of the better players.
How did school factor into all this? Because you're at 14 is what, junior high, right? When or you don't call it junior high in Canada, you call it...
Yeah, I was grade 8, grade 9.
Grade 9.
Yeah, exactly.
That was me in grade 9.
Good job.
Grade 8 ladies? No reference? Okay.
They did a pretty good job. So once I turned 13, I started playing out of Swift Current, where they would have the rec team play out of for, the kind of area that the southwest Saskatchewan area. And that was about an hour drive for us. So school-wise, I mean, obviously for weekends of tournaments and stuff like that, you're missing Friday for sure, and sometimes Thursday, depending on where it is and how big the tournament is. But then practice-wise, they did a pretty good job of being able to have our practices at it's never going to be perfect. It would be at 5:15 or something like that. So obviously during supper time, but at the same time, that gives us enough chance to be able to finish school, our parents be able to finish work, and then drive us the hour that it took to get to Swift Current to be able to practice.
And when primary school or what we call high school, when that was done, like grade 12, did you go on to college hockey, or did you go straight to juniors?
I went straight to juniors. I actually was playing juniors my junior and senior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
Grade 11, grade 12 year.
Is that unusual?
No, that's pretty common for lots of guys that grow and go on to play in junior hockey.
The advanced players.
That's a good word. Yeah, I like
the advanced players.
And at some point, I would imagine juniors players realize they've either got it or they don't. They're going to the bigs or they're not. When did you realize that it was a viable dream for you to get drafted into the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, my rookie year in junior, I had a pretty good start to the year. I think I was just under a point per game, which is pretty good for a 17-year-old kid, the first year in the league, playing against anything up to 20-year-olds. So I definitely had a vision that I wanted to, be drafted in the NHL, and that was my first goal. I had that year, and then the next year would be my draft year, so I had some time to develop. But then I went on like a 45-game slump without a goal, actually.
Got the yips.
45
Exactly.
games.
45. My last goal was like right before New Year's, and I
Really?
didn't score for the rest of the year.
How do you mentally bounce back from that? Like, I mean, I know you're going to give me we just go to practice. I'm just going to keep doing
Yeah.
and keep doing. But I mean, but seriously,
But
I
like
mean,
really,
it's
in real life.
that's what this is about. I mean,
No.
you can be honest. I mean,
I
how
think-
do you sit there in the dark in your room going, man, like you're day 22 and
Yeah.
you've been playing these games, and like, how do you mentally? Obviously, you got to be mentally tough anyway to be
Yeah.
in that kind of competitive sport and at that level. But I mean, that's got to be just brutal.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, and we had a really good team too. We ended up going to the conference finals and losing out there, so it wasn't
wow.
like it was a lack of skill for team or me. It was just, I don't know, pucks weren't bouncing the right way.
Mhm.
Maybe my effort levels were inconsistent at times. But then during the off season, I had a chance to step back and take a look at how the season went, and I went into the summer with one thing on my mind, that I wanted to get back to that level that I was at the beginning of the season, or the first half, and kind of from there I stepped into the beginning of the next year, and I think I scored in my first game, so that was obviously a nice monkey off the back. And
Heck
then
yeah. How did you?
from there I just
how-
kind of rolled.
How did you do that? Like, you said that you mentally were like, I need to get back to it. So I mean,
Yeah.
were you putting in extra time? Did you get a different coach? Like, what were you doing then to get out of that funk? Like, what was that?
To me, the off season's a really good time to reset, and obviously you never want to forget any accomplishments or anything like that you've had in past seasons, but
Nice.
it's a good time to cross a few things off the list and just have the mind of a goldfish and just forget some stuff. So
Like a 2-second
I
memory.
like
or
that
whatever
one.
they
Yeah.
have.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So, yeah, I think with that, I still work with the same mental strength coach now that I did back then, and I had some good
Mental strength
conversations.
coach.
What
That's
is
great.
that?
I
Yeah.
love that.
A mental strength coach that I
We
talked
call
to.
them psychiatrists, but what's
No. There's a
No,
real
no,
thing.
I'm just kidding,
No,
I'm
it's a
kidding.
real thing though. Actually, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
Russell
well-
Wilson actually had a mental strength coach. When
Yeah.
he was in Seattle, I always bring that back, but it's true. It's some
What
high level
what
athletes
does
do
a
that.
mental
It's great.
strength coach
Yeah,
do for you, and how?
So I started working with him in high school. Actually, we for one of my extra credits that I could get, I could go see him with a few other of my teammates. We would do a report every week, and then you kind of had to have log a certain amount of athletic hours or something like that, and then you went, and I think we read a few books on mental toughness and stuff like that, and from there I've kind of just been being able to call him kind of whenever I need, and these last 3 years I've been calling him a lot more, and for me it's not just in times where I'm in slumps or anything, it's even in times where I'm at highs of my season, and being able to talk to him and let him know how I'm feeling on the ice. I feel like you have so many different emotions going through you that you don't really know how to explain it, and it's nice to be able to tell someone and them kind of understand, because he works with 25 hockey players on the same thing, so he works with my brother too, so it's very similar, I feel like, with our feelings of.
Can I go off in a direction here? Because you said you're, 16, 17 when you started working with him?
Yep.
So you're dealing with the pressures of athletic success. You're dealing with the pressures of excellence.
Yep.
And teenage angst, hormones, all the other,
Yeah.
how does a because when I was 17, I was stupid. I'm
Yeah.
just going to tell you. Right? So how did you balance that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me personally, I got out of the house early. I'd moved out when I was 14, so being able to just get out on my own and be able to experience some stuff was massive for me personally, and just being able to know what's right and what's wrong. Obviously, you know some stuff, but to be able to experience it, and sometimes you have to screw up a few times.
Yeah, you have to fail forward for sure.
Exactly, to figure out life. So I think for me that was a big part about it, is being out of the house at a young age. Yeah.
So you said you were out on your own. I mean, were you living by yourself? You have roommates? Like, how do you do that?
I lived with the Billet family actually in Saskatoon for 2 years. The dad played in the NHL. His name's Rich Pelon, and his son was actually on Hershey last year.
No way.
Yeah, so one of my best friends was on the team we lost to.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, but so
I might need to have a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. So I lived with them for 2 years before I moved up to junior hockey, where I lived with a different Billet family. So they basically had an extra bedroom. My parents paid them a fee every month or whatever it was for me to live.
And that's common. I think I know a couple people from here who have done that.
Man, but that can't be easy. I mean, as a parent, like, that's a lot. 14. I can't imagine sending my son, out and like trusting he's gonna be, doing what he's doing. But like, there's a lot of heartache, especially with the moms. Like moms, like dads are a little more forgiving around that, I'm sure. But that couldn't have been easy on your mom.
Yeah, definitely not. Not at all. I think one thing that was good about it is I'd played actually summer hockey with Garrett, the son, I think 3 years when I was younger. So we had known the family a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
We'd kind of grown around it. And then some of the other players that I would play summer hockey with were on my midget AAA team, which is the team that I was there billeting to play for. So that kind of made it a lot easier on me, having some friends that I had been around for a while and them billeting with other families
but
too.
Still, there's the, I'm not trying to get too dark, but too deep, but there's still the moments of, man, I sure wish my mom or my dad was here.
Yeah, 100% for sure.
But the payoff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everything's a sacrifice, and here you are.
And they knew that this is what you wanted to do. You clearly articulated that.
Yeah.
And you said you had that mental strength training coach.
Yeah.
Through those moments as well.
Yeah, actually, I think that when I moved in with the Pelons, that's when I started working with my mental strength coach.
That really helped keep you grounded and gave you that outlet. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's nice to just have a new set of ears and a new voice to listen to and talk to about things too.
At what point in that journey did you learn how to barbecue? Because Riker's 21 and he can't barbecue.
Well, he barbecues, but he can't barbecue.
Yeah, there's a difference.
We talked about that.
We did.
Yeah.
He charbecues probably. Right?
Yes, that's exactly what he does. You're right. I mean, I got pretty lucky with my billet family in Saskatoon and Kelowna. I really didn't have to make too many meals. But when I turned pro, I'll tell you, it was a different breed.
You had to learn how to.
It was a new monster you had to attack. So what Riker does now is exactly what
he's learning. He's learning.
That grin on his face. He's like, I've been there.
I remember.
Right where you are.
And guys like to chirp him about stuff like that, but in the back of our minds, we all know that we've all been through the exact same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now that was a perfect transition. So you talked about going pro. How did that happen? How'd you go pro?
Yeah. So I was drafted in second round by Vancouver in 2017, I want to say, and then I had one more year of junior that I could play after that, and then I moved to Utica, New York, to play with Vancouver's AHL team for my first year pro. And that was a big learning curve for me, finally actually being on my own. No billet mom, mother, grandma, anyone to cook for you, tend to you.
What was the
biggest laundry?
What was the biggest holy cow moment when you're out doing
stack
that?
Of dirty
I mean, outside of your domesticated sort of situation, but I mean, was there a moment where you're like, holy cow, I'm out here doing it?
Yeah, the hour and a half that it takes to probably prepare dinner every night is something that goes very sneakily unnoticed, I find.
Oh yeah. Do you appreciate mom more?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
And dads.
Yeah.
I'm a cook.
I cook at my house.
My dad cooked.
Yeah.
I learned because my dad he was a cook.
Yeah,
so.
my dad's taken on a big role of cooking now, actually. So that's
Shout out to you cooking dads out there.
Exactly.
Hold it down.
Yeah.
Here's to the grilling dads.
We love it. Yeah, indoor, outdoor.
All right, so you're in Utica. You're doing the thing.
Yep.
And what was your rookie year like for you?
Yeah, that was a big learning curve for me. That was another.
Is it what you expected? Is it what you thought it would be?
No, not at all. It was way harder than expected. I went into it as a pretty highly touted prospect, hoping to maybe get a chance to be with Vancouver for a little bit that year, and they were going through some struggles, so I thought there might be a chance. I came off a really good year, junior the year before, so I never really knew. And then I got to Utica, and things were a lot different. I was playing minimal minutes, and the minutes I did see were not power play time like I was used to in junior hockey. And I went on another big skid of not scoring. I think
Well, you got to be on the ice to score, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think I went my first almost 30 games pro without a goal. So
30 games.
Yeah.
Oof.
You start thinking, oh man, I'm getting sent down.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean when you're by yourself, like I said, it's tough, and that's when working with my mental strength coach was probably at its biggest and most important time.
How long has he been? It sounds like, is he still a part of your life? Is it? It sounds to me like that's been an ongoing thing.
I still talk to him. I talked to him 2 nights ago.
So he's a big part of your success.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
He's kind of been he's been through it with me, like I said, since I moved in to the Pelon. So I would have been 14 at the time. So it'll be coming up on almost 10 years now that I've been working with him.
So you were playing for Vancouver for that organization.
Yeah.
How did you end up then coming over to Seattle?
Yeah.
And then obviously down here.
So I was with Vancouver, basically with their farm team most of the time I was there. The COVID year happened. I got called up from Utica that year, and I ended up playing my first 7 NHL games that year.
In Vancouver?
In Vancouver,
Sweet.
yeah.
What was that like to go to actually being in the NHL? Going from how was that feeling? And then what was that like to step on the ice and be a part of that? Because, I mean, this is something that you said.
Dream.
Yeah, right? You were, 14 when you were like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And it's only, 5 years later that you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
15, 16, 17, like 19, 20?
Yeah, I think I was 22. I think
Okay,
that
so
Little math's
maybe
hard.
math is not my
Math
thing,
is
but
hard.
Something
like
like that.
6 years later, right?
But there you are, and you've gone through a lot of tough times.
Yeah.
You're alone. You've had to bounce
100%.
around from families to families, and then there you are. I mean, how was that experience?
For things to come to fruition, it was really cool. I mean, to look back, I made a pretty big post about it, even on my Instagram, of all the coaches that have helped me get there, my parents driving me all over the country just to be able to play in tournaments, and then, like you said, to go through all those dark times by myself to finally stepping on the ice with the same NHL players that you watched on TV today was one of the best moments of my life.
What was it like to walk into the Vancouver dressing room for the first time, go up to your locker, your stall, and see a jersey hanging there with your name on it?
Yeah. It was unreal. Yeah, I mean, you walk in there and I think the biggest thing for me was when I was getting dressed to go onto the ice, just grabbing the jersey and actually pulling it over your shoulders was the coolest part. You just look down and, I mean, it's
This is my jersey.
Like, what am I doing? How did I don't remember any of the part of getting here.
Did you get that feeling of like I did it?
Yeah.
I did it.
I think for sure.
Pulled it off.
I knew there was still work to be done for sure, but I think
the work was really just beginning then, right? Yeah.
The first NHL game of anyone's career is definitely a moment to reflect on the sacrifices and everything that it took to get there.
Well, because you're, again, back to what, how we got there, it wasn't just your sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like you said, you made the post, like most people would, because I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had a great interview with Conan O'Brien, and he never, in his book, he writes, never call me a self-made man, because of so many people in my life that got me to be where he was at, Mr. Olympian, the governor, superstar actor, all these things.
Yep.
And he says, do not call me self-made, because it took all these people to get me here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes a village. For
yeah.
sure.
And so
Yeah.
I think, I could see getting almost emotional putting on the jersey, because you're thinking of everybody who helped get you there, and then you step out on the ice, and then you
100%.
see all the people in the arena, and then you hear the horn, and then now you're on the ice, and it's game on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. Those phone calls, I found out, I think we played in Ottawa the night before, and I wasn't playing. Then we flew into Toronto, and I was walking off the plane, and the coach just kind of pulled me aside and was like, Linder, give your folks a call. There's a pretty good chance you're going to be playing tomorrow.
Wow.
And
You're like, but we don't have a game tomorrow. We don't have a game.
and this was the COVID year, so there was no fans in the stands for the game.
Oh,
so
man,
no one could
that's
fly
right.
there.
You didn't get to hear the roar the first time.
No.
Shoot.
Yeah, it was
so
all
unfair.
So, but anyways, there was some pretty emotional phone calls that night, and my sister made up a little video, had everyone take little selfie videos saying good luck, we're so proud of you and everything. And yeah, that was,
Tell me you cried.
I still have the
Tell me you
video
cried,
on
bro.
my phone. Oh,
I know you're a
100%
tough
I cried.
guy, but how do
Yeah,
you
I cried.
not?
I did.
Heck yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Oh,
I
man.
was just wondering if you let us post that, because, man, that would be. Anyway, I don't want to dig into too personal.
No,
So,
that's great.
all right, so you're doing the thing. You're playing in Vancouver. All's right with the world.
Yeah.
And then and then you get a phone call or a text or something telling you.
Yeah. So it was
You're
the
going
end,
south.
Obviously, the end of the season came around, and then this was the summer of the expansion draft for Seattle. All along, Vancouver had kind of told me that I was going to be one of the guys protected. They could protect 7 forwards, 3D, and a goalie, I think it was, and then they draft from everybody, the rest of the pool of players that Vancouver has ownership of. And for most of that, I was pretty calm. I thought I was going to be in Vancouver again the next year. It's always good to go back to something you're comfortable with, so I was excited, just coming off my first few NHL games, having a chance to hopefully play in the NHL. And about 30 minutes before the lists had to be in of the players that are going to be protected, Vancouver had made a trade for another player and called my agent and said that I wasn't going to be protected anymore. So
Oh, wow. 30 minutes.
yeah,
Jeez.
a total 180
Yeah.
for me. And I think the draft was 3 days later. And it was a lot of phone calls, and the draft was the Monday night maybe or something like that, and I found out on the Friday, and the draft wasn't until 4 or 5 p.m. in Saskatchewan, and I had woken up to my phone, and I had set my alarm early too, and I had
Well, we
woken
know
up.
about you and your alarms. So.
Yeah.
I woke up to, I think, 10 missed phone calls already in the morning, because they had found out, or Seattle had told Vancouver that they were going to
So
pick
the
me.
world knew, and there you are waking up from your slumber, and holy cow, life had passed you by. And
if you go on Twitter, I think almost every single pick was leaked from that draft before
Really?
the actual draft happened.
no kidding.
Yeah.
By
How did that
design- by
happen?
I
design,
have no
probably.
idea.
You think so?
Yeah, it creates buzz. So you're like, well, I guess I'm going to Seattle.
Yeah.
What was that transition like?
Yeah, I mean, total shift in culture. Obviously,
By the way, you had to know going in
that there was a
Vancouver
chance.
was not going to be your last team.
No, 100%. I knew that I wasn't going to be in Vancouver forever, 100%. But for me, it was a breath of fresh air. I went into camp, and obviously they had watched me a little bit to be able to pick me in the expansion draft.
Yeah, they knew what you could do.
So they obviously had some positive thoughts about me, and I went in and had one of my best NHL training camps I had ever had, and a couple of guys went down before opening night, so I got on Seattle's opening night roster, and then was up and down for.
Was that unexpected? Did you not expect to be on there?
Yeah, I didn't really know what to think because they had picked so many different guys. You really didn't know who was going to be on the team and who wasn't. And most years you have a pretty good idea who's going to be in the NHL and who's not. But just going on years before of who played on the team, and then obviously there's usually, depending on what they turn over for numbers, there's who they sign in the summertime and stuff. So for me, I didn't really worry about numbers, and I think that was the best thing for me. I went out there and I had a great training camp and played a couple of games, and then I was sent down to Charlotte for the first half of the year, just over half of the year, and then I got...
Oh, yeah, because there was no AHL team to send you to yet.
Right.
Yeah, we
Not
were
yet.
splitting
Yeah.
with Florida that year.
So you went over to the Checkers, and you're
Yeah.
like...
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Mertz while you were there? The
No.
soul food place in
No.
Uptown? Oh,
No,
you
I
missed that
didn't.
food so good. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so anyways, I was there, and I
Love
loved it in
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte's a beautiful city. And was kind of up and down, played a few games up and down with Seattle throughout the year, and then I think it came February, I got called up, and I was up there for the rest of the season.
So can I ask you, you said you're up and down. You guys do that a lot. I've always been curious, how hard is it to do that? Like 1 minute, you're in Charlotte,
Yeah.
you're living, you're trying to exist, you're with the one team, you're hanging out with the guys. And then like tomorrow you're yanked back up in Seattle. Now you're doing something different. You're hanging out with another set of guys. And like, how hard is that to do, to transition from one to the other back and forth? I mean,
Yeah, it's tough for sure. I feel like for guys that have been around in dressing rooms for a while, it's a lot different being a leader in one dressing room and then going up to the NHL, and you're kind of just a listener in the other dressing room.
oh yeah.
Obviously, comfortability is a big thing about that. But I mean, with all of that, you just gotta kind of take it one step at a time.
So, you're a seasoned guy, and, you've been around. So with the younger players, has that been something that you felt like you've been imparting on or have learned to naturally do to prepare them? So if they're going to go up and down, like how do you get them ready?
Yeah. I think the first thing you want to do with any young guy is try to get them as comfortable as possible. And sometimes that takes, obviously, going out of your way to trip them a little extra or something like
This
that.
is after they clean the bus, clearly.
100%, yeah.
Nice.
And
Yeah, we learned
I
something.
mean, for Riker, I think the first month of the year last year, you could count on both hands how many words he'd say a day.
yeah,
and then,
he's a quiet kid.
He's a kid of few words.
100%. But
He's about his business, though.
yeah, absolutely. Riker is right dialed in. But then once he got comfortable, he was one of the more talkative guys in the
Really?
dressing rooms, and now he's one of the most talkative guys in the dressing room every day.
That's
I love that.
amazing. Yeah, when we had, he's a great kid. Loved having him. Interviewed him, and you could see there's lots going on.
Oh yeah, there's a ton.
And
It's not all good either.
so I want to get him back. That's great. So
Yeah.
is there something that you can share with us then? I guess a little
Yeah,
nugget.
actually, I've got some fresh stuff off the
Oh,
register.
let's go. Let's
Do it. I dare
forget
you.
the other
Yeah,
subjects.
we'll come back.
Let's
Yeah.
spill some tea.
Let's go.
Yeah, just a little bit because he gets tripped enough for his barbecuing. But
Yep. Yeah. It's a pass
he's
down.
roommates with Luke Henman, and the other day Henny was going to buy blackout blinds for his bedroom and forgot to measure how wide the frame of his window was, of course. So he had Riker, who was at home, go grab the measuring tape and try to measure
Oh, dear
the
God.
frame of his windows. And lo and behold, Riker doesn't know how to read a measuring tape.
No kidding. So was it
It's
too short,
numbers.
too small?
He sent Henny. He was like, I have no idea how to read this thing. And then he said, I think it's 3 feet 46 inches.
No way. Oh shoot.
So yeah, that's it takes a special breed.
That's so good. Well, I mean, being a handyman's tough. Measuring tapes are hard, especially if you're here in the States. It could be.
Did he have a hard time opening it? Was that a star like that?
I hope to God he didn't. Obviously, I wasn't there, but
I love it. Well, it's the little things in life, and you learn. Like barbecuing. I mean, it seems easy enough, but
or charbecuing in his case.
Yeah, but I love that. That's great.
Yeah. Well,
all right, I got like I'm distracted in my mind right now.
Well, okay, so you're back in
thinking about the measuring.
Yeah, I know. We go back to so you're bouncing around. You're in Seattle. How many games are you're up there playing before then you start hearing about Acrisure? You start hearing about the Firebirds. Like, when does that start to take place for you?
Yeah. So I had ended up finishing the year in Seattle. Didn't get sent back down to Charlotte at the end of the year. So going into the next season, I think the goal for everyone, no matter who you ask, who's been in what league the longest, their main focus is trying to make it to the NHL.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that was my main goal, was to be in Seattle. And obviously things didn't go my way last year, didn't make the team, and didn't really get any games last year. But I mean, when I got down here, it was everything you could have imagined and more.
All right, so let's talk about that.
Talk about
All right, so you get the call.
Yep.
You're not going to be playing, for the Kraken at the moment.
Yep.
It's, hey, oh, by the way, our farm team's ready.
Yeah.
We have this new building.
Mm-hmm.
You get the call. You get on the plane. Tell us what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, it was different because the first 2 months we were in a hotel in Seattle the whole time.
Yeah,
so
no plane to get on, right? They were still in town.
Yeah, we were playing in a junior rink. I think we played in Climate Pledge once, and then we were playing in the practice rink there for a couple games. So it was a lot different. But I think the build-up just made it all worth it in the end. And then I think we came down. Our practice rink was done the beginning of November sometime. We flew down, and I mean, for lots of guys on the team, it was perfect. We kind of had a slower schedule. We were only playing on the weekend, so we got used to the town and being able to golf a couple times a week.
So what was that like for you? I mean, have you ever been here before?
No, first time.
Never been down to the desert, never been down to Palm Springs area. You guys probably heard about it a little bit. You guys are getting excited that this building's being built for you.
Absolutely.
Right? And you probably, as it gets closer to December or November, whenever you got here, it's like, we got to hurry up and get down there. What was it like, your first experience being in the Valley? Where'd you go? What'd you do?
So with us being in the hotel for the first 2 months, we were able to all kind of find places for ourselves while we were still in Seattle. It wasn't anything like it was this year. We kind of
where you had like a great agent to find you a place.
He was okay, but
nice.
Anyways,
nice.
So anyways, we basically went on our own, and I got my place in La Quinta Cove, and drove down there. And
you should just go ahead and give the address now. Like
well, I don't live there anymore, so I couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, but you got a better agent this time.
But we got in at night, so didn't really see much.
So you're flying in. It's just a bunch of lights. You can't even tell.
Yeah, it was
dark.
We, me, Potts, and Husey went to Hibachi that night. Shogun, I think, was the place.
Yeah.
Even though there was an Applebee's right in the parking lot.
It's good eats, though. No, dude, don't go to Applebee's. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go to Shogun. Yeah, it's a good spot, man.
Yeah, so we went there. And then we actually had a day off the next day. So Potsy and I had booked a round of golf. And it was right around the corner from where my place was. It's actually a pretty funny story. And so we were going to go to dinner, go stay at my house, get up, and then go golf. And we go to dinner, might have stopped for ice cream on the way through afterwards, and then get to my house, and like the key lock that holds your keys in it was dead, and it was like an electric one.
Get out of here.
So Potsy lived in North Indio. So we had to drive 45 minutes to go stay at Potsy's
house. Oh my gosh! What time of night is this?
It had to have been 11 o'clock at least. And then we had to drive all the way back the next morning to go golf. And so the next day was the experience of getting out, and you see the palm trees and the desert and the mountains, and you're like, my goodness, this feels like a legit vacation.
And it was December, right? So it's nice,
perfect.
chilly, feels good,
perfect.
the air's crisp.
Mornings are good.
Yeah.
Sun comes out. We're getting into that right now. It's great.
Yeah, just coming back around. So what? So you drive by, you drive up to Acrisure, right? That's right. You're looking, that's a nice looking building. What was it? And I've asked everybody the same question. What was it like when you walked in for the first time? Because you'd been in a lot of other much older facilities.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. There's no team in the AHL that has the setup we do. This is definitely the best. And we actually only had the practice rink at first, so we weren't really in our team locker room at first even.
That wasn't even ready?
It wasn't ready yet.
Oh, wow.
No. So they were just finishing up construction on that. I think a week or two went by and we got in there, which was a huge, I think, just settling point for all of us, being able to just leave your gear.
We're home.
Exactly.
We're home.
And then getting the first few peeks into the game rink where, I mean, looking back on it now, it gives me chills just thinking of where it started last year and where it ended, and now where it's going today. It's just been, building blocks throughout the whole thing, and it's been unbelievable.
Well, I'm glad you think so, because we're talking about that next. Before we do, though, when you went to Seattle, right?
Yep.
And you know that at some point you may be coming to the AHL. Did you know Max? Did you know Husey? Did you know any of those guys before you were a team?
I had played with Max Truzy, who's gone now.
I'm going to go see him in January when I'm in Charlotte.
All right.
Yeah. And then
Tell him I say hi.
And then a few other guys we played on Charlotte the year before together. Husey I didn't know. Potsy I didn't know. I'd say 3/4 of the team last year. I had no idea who they were. And now you look at it, they're some of my best friends.
Yeah, right. So when you guys got here, you were already a snap tight unit.
Yeah.
How did that happen? If you just briefly up in Seattle before you got here, how did that group of guys that really didn't know each other become what we?
It looks like a brotherhood. That's kind of the word that we've been using, especially after Riker was here. That was kind of a thing. It became like a bunch of brothers.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing was staying in the hotel for the first 2 months. I mean, we were legit. We really didn't leave each other's side. We thankfully had our own rooms in Seattle.
Did you really?
Okay. In Seattle we did, yeah. On the road, Carson Tworinsky was my roommate.
Heard he's bad at poker.
No comment.
That means, when you say nothing, that says everything.
But I think that was a big thing for us, was just being together in Seattle and having to kind of grind out that first month and a half of the season. And I think we came out as one of the league's best teams. And
you think? No doubt.
No
doubt about it.
Just record-wise, we were right up there, and we had not even been home yet.
Yeah, your chemistry. All right, so let's lead into December 18th, since that's kind of the direction we're going. Because when we got in there, and Riker doesn't know, he didn't know, and I don't know how much you're aware of. Well, so our backstory, we've talked about this on the show. We didn't know each other prior to the season of last year. Yeah, you would think that we've known each other for a long time. Actually, hockey, and I wasn't a hockey guy.
Yeah.
I just learned last year. So I represent on the show the sense of the Valley that didn't know hockey in the sense growing up with it. I've never played.
Yep.
I can ice skate.
Yep.
Yeah, I can skate. But I can skate. I can skate. He played. I didn't. But we didn't know each other like most people in that arena until December 18th.
Yep.
We're coming together. He's sitting in his seat. I have to get by him. We introduce ourselves. We get to know each other. Like everybody in our sections just starts to get to know each other. Like how I'm going to be here all season. I'm Kyle. I'm Dan. And it became that similar bond started to take place. So our excitement and your excitement, I think, were matched come December 18th. And what was that like for you guys that game day?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone came to the rink for morning skates, and they could have played the game right then and there. I think everyone was just so excited to finally get out there and experience our own fans and have the excitement of scoring a goal and everyone in the building cheering for you. So
What was warm-ups like?
Oh, electric. I think every warm-ups is electric at Acrisure, because you go to some other buildings around the league, and not only warm-ups, but the whole game's an absolute snooze fest sometimes.
We witnessed that recently. I'm not going to bag on anybody else, but
Yeah.
you guys were on the road recently, and I wasn't.
Rhymes are schmoose on.
Yeah. I think we bring it in a different way for sure.
Absolutely.
But I think there was an excitement built up on that day, especially because we've been following you guys. So from a fan perspective, we're watching from afar, watching your records, paying attention. Like, okay, because we have this we know you're coming.
Yeah.
So we're just sitting here waiting, man. It's like
just like
It's a
you,
build
we're
up
like,
for you guys
Yeah.
just as much as it is for us.
Exactly. We bought our tickets. We know our seats. We haven't, we were so excited. I remember I was so excited to see my seat finally because it was like, this is going to be my seat. But we didn't know what we were going to see until you guys showed up. And then there you are. Again, you guys look different because of the chemistry you'd built in Seattle. So you get in the building. I mean, you guys looked like you had a little pep in your step. You looked a little juiced.
Absolutely.
And what was the energy like? And then the lights go down. We get the anthem. Everybody's going. You get the glow sticks. What was all that like? And for you guys, what were you feeling through all that?
Yeah, that was sick. I mean, the glow sticks and the energy of us coming out for the game were something that I still remember to this day. I still see those red glow sticks in the stands now, and it's like, I remember where that's from. That was sick. And then I think we got the orange ones in playoffs. But yeah, I think
so. They noticed.
100%. I remember. I see them every single time. I still see handful every game. And
you've been in front of countless other arena other fans. And you're like, oh, man,
No, there's nothing like ours, 100%.
That's great.
Yeah, the Valley brings it best for sure.
Yeah, and then you're saying warm-up. So since you didn't see the episode, was there a particular, you see the signs around the glass, right?
Yeah.
Was there any one particular sign that you saw last year that stuck out to you that you thought was?
I mean, there was so many good signs last year. Riker was actually one of the more popular ones, I felt like, for getting signed.
He's got a
little Riker, dude.
Little Riker, yeah. So that was one of the things, and we ran into him last night at the game.
Yeah.
And because of the episode, we had talked about him, and
he's such a cute little
He's
kid.
Amazing, and he's such a huge fan of Riker Evans. I mean, so little Riker idolizes him. That's why he played hockey.
Yeah.
He got into hockey because of him.
Yeah.
This is what you guys have done.
Yeah.
You've influenced these new skaters.
100%.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So you've seen the signs from last year, maybe this year, but the last year especially. Were there any ones that stood out for you?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this one, but I remember.
You're on podcast, bro. This is safe space.
I remember Eddie had a really good one. Someone put it up. It was Eddie Whitcow, "You're my wife's hall pass."
That's him.
That's
him.
Actually,
that's him.
That was me.
That's him.
That's unbelievable. That's
she was
freaking
so
hilarious.
mad at me when I made it, and then she didn't think I put it out there, and she turned beet red, and he skated over, gave her a puck. I'm like, that's all you're giving her. But it was that was us.
That's him, dude.
She's getting off work. She's gonna come by in a second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, lots of the time I usually spend more time reading the sign than I do actually looking around and seeing people around the arena, because it is just so entertaining to see the signs that people
The
bring.
creativity, I think, kept
unbelievable.
escalating especially as the season went on. I mean, you'd start seeing the boards getting littered.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speak of the devil. Listen, who just walked in.
Yeah. That's we and I think the fans.
You loved your Eddie sign.
Yeah.
Especially we, I think it was how creative can we get? What can we bring different?
Yeah.
And then we weren't sure how much of what we were bringing were you guys paying attention to? Because you guys do a great job of staying focused, right? Every once in a while I get the head nods, we get the acknowledgments, which is really cool, and the kids love it.
But we're just two of 10, 12, 13,000 fans.
Yeah.
what what do you get from us, from them, from us? We don't know because there's no feedback. We don't know.
Yeah. I think it just brings a different energy. Me personally, I love the lighthearted sign of the lighthearted part of not taking the game too seriously. Obviously, when it comes down to game time, I'm totally dialed in on hockey.
100%.
You really?
But even in the intermissions, I love to just make jokes and try to keep guys lighthearted and not worry about, past mistakes or anything. And I think the easiest way to do that is to, take it lighthearted and make some jokes and some stuff that can keep you dialed into hockey, but at the same time, you're like,
there's a small handful of you guys, you being chief among them, that especially during warm-ups, we can see you're like a kid just at summer camp. You're just having fun out there. Yeah. Like this is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think
it's fun to watch.
It was interesting before we had talked about it on an episode about who our favorite players were, and your name came up, and so I had noticed your gameplay last season. Because I love your style of play because you're super physical. I love that you love to create chaos. And
I love it.
I know you do. And Riker told us about you are the biggest chirper on the team.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a minute.
Because eventually we're going to talk about last night.
Yeah, we will. We'll get into that.
Yeah. I got a million questions about that.
And so, for me personally, I loved – because the way my style of play, I think, it mirrors a lot of what you bring in. I love seeing that because I'm like you. I like to be physical. So I played football, basketball. I played some other sports as well. But I like to bring physicality. But you smile as you're doing these things, these irritating moments. You're smiling. You're having fun. And that was me. So I would chirp and I would smile. And I know I'm getting to the opponent and I'm getting under their skin along with my play, but also the mental game. So I'm watching you play the mental game along with that physical game. And I'm like, I like this kid. He just gets after it. And you back it up. I mean, that's the thing. It's one thing to talk a lot and kind of be annoying, but you're out there backing it up with your play. And so before we met, it was that I'd seen it last year, and I was like, I love that style. Like I've always enjoyed that style, and on any different platform. But I always thought it was really cool what you guys brought, and you're always smiling, you're always having a good time.
No, and I think, like I said, that's part of it. I love to keep it lighthearted, and I think if I'm doing my job right, obviously it's scoring goals and whatever else, and
keeping other people from scoring goals.
No, exactly.
That baby.
And getting under the other team's skin. I mean, I don't think there are too many guys around this league that you can ask that will say that they don't hate playing against me just for the fact that I'm annoying.
Okay, we can't hear.
Yeah, we can't hear it. We can't
give
hear
us an
that
example.
stuff.
What does that look like? What does that sound like?
I mean, I don't chirp as much anymore.
Because you're getting older, getting more mature.
Exactly. But
however,
even last night, like me and Max always seem to be the two right in the middle of
things. You are.
Dude, Max was collecting some negative energy last night.
There was some stuff going down.
Things that I like to do, like if guys are like skating around or it's like after a whistle, I'll grab like the back of their helmet and flip it up so it like sits like this on their head.
Dude.
Or like
that's a good
last
one.
night, I think the goalie had like made like a save and there was like a bunch of us around the net and I accidentally take a tumble and fell.
Accidentally?
Well, I got a little bump on the back of the leg, so it gave me a reason to take a tumble.
I did see the fall. Yeah.
So,
I thought, it's something not.
I was like, kind of just an opportunity to
lay on him.
Well, I didn't make any contact with him. Sorry, AHL.
Yeah,
it's true you didn't.
But
we can look at tape.
But for sure, there's definitely a thing of just when a goalie's laying down, you don't want to hurt him.
No.
But
just
you want to
remind him
exactly that you're there.
Yeah.
And I think our team does a good job of being in anyone's face. And when a goalie's playing good, I think you got to get in the goalie's face sometimes to get him off.
He was getting a little aggro last night.
Yeah.
He a little.
Really
he came out of his little area and
he came out of the crease at. Was it at you or was it at Max?
Yeah, it came at Max. Like that was away from us. That was on the other side. But I mean, we saw that, and I had never seen that out of all those games, out of everything that we had seen during the regular season, and even I had never seen a goalie all of a sudden come out and then come after another player. So I'm a little curious as to
do you know
what the heck
that?
happened?
Can you talk about that?
I think Max would just take maybe 1 or 2 extra whacks at pucks after whistles or that he had covered.
These are just allegations. There's no evidence.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Just
Counselor.
allegedly
So Dave's a lawyer by profession.
Just
so
allegedly.
allegedly
Okay.
things were going down. Can I talk about the incident last night?
Yeah.
That got me a little fired up because, well, I'd seen what you were in the midst of a pretty nasty dust up. I mean, there was a lot going on right there. There was that moment, like there was somebody came after you, you came after them, then more players are coming after you. You guys had to be separated.
Yeah.
The ref was taking you to the bench.
Did you know he was smiling too?
Of course. I love it. Yeah.
Well, their whole bench is.
But you were
of course,
pissed.
chirping me. And
You were pissed though. I could see it. You weren't happy about something at all, and then they sat you down. It was just a little different. It just seemed like the entire team was like out to get you.
Yeah. I feel like there's always a moment of the other team trying to get me. I think it was when I had fell down there, and I think one of the guys in the other team was saying I was trying to step on the goalie, which
not true.
No, I actually watched your foot. You moved it
I
specifically
fell onto my
away,
knees backwards, so my skates got nowhere near him. But I think that's what they were trying to sell to the refs, and the whole bench was kind of chirping me, and I might have gave a wink or two to the bench.
It was a big to do
like
though.
But,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, stuff gets heated, like I said, and
they were pretty physical. They were bringing some heat last night.
Yeah.
How's File? Is he okay?
Yeah, he's good.
He left the body part on the ice last night.
Yeah, he got hit in the face with the puck. So
that's what it was.
He's got a big. I don't know. He's just all swollen up.
He didn't lose a tooth.
No, his teeth are all good.
It looked. That's what it looked like.
We were like everybody in that corner
us.
was taking pictures. We thought that was a tooth. On
you
the
know
ground.
where we sit, right? You know where we're located.
Yeah, on the bench side, right?
Bench side, underneath the buzz box sign. So we're right there, the drop zone.
So, hey, honey, he did not lose a tooth last night. We're good.
We're good.
No,
okay.
But Otto Vinen, he was in a bubble last night, and he's been hit in the mouth area 3 times already.
We were wondering about
twice
that too.
during practice.
Okay.
And he has lost teeth this year.
Oh man, I know he. I'm like
we saw that
the whole bubble.
Yeah, we
I'm
commented
like,
on that, and I was thinking it's probably because he's got pre-existing injury. That's the only reason.
Well, they're already gone, dude. Husey owns it. Just own it.
Yeah. Well, his were all chipped on the front. Like there's a bunch of them chipped, and he had just gotten them fixed like the day before, I think. But I don't know. I don't think any of them ended up getting re-chipped last night.
All right. Well, good.
Can I switch gears for a second?
Yeah, please.
There was something I was thinking about today because I knew you were coming on. So your friend, you're pretty close with another player, and he's new to the team. Kale.
Yep. Yeah.
He's a buddy of yours.
Yeah, I'm real close with Kale, yeah.
You guys go way back.
Yeah. To the days that I actually played with Garrett, I played with Kale back then, too, when I was 7 or 8 years old. I think we started playing together.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So, when I got privy to that information, I thought that's really neat, and it's kind of a really amazing experience. And because the reason I bring it up was game 1, our home opener.
Yep.
There he is, new to the team, new to the Firebirds, and what does he do?
Scores.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
Score.
Dude, how cool is that?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, we had played with each other in Charlotte, and kind of re-upped our friendship. We didn't really talk much throughout junior or anything, and now we're best buddies, and I was a part of his wedding this summer, so it was
awesome.
pretty cool for me to be able to, get up to speed like that, and for him to be here and, in an environment where he can be comfortable and make plays that I know he can make. I think it'll be big for him for sure.
Is he a few years behind you?
He's the same age as me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys literally played all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's had some success, obviously. And then I think the reason why it struck me was because, I've got a friend back home who I've been friends with, and actually I just talked to him this morning. I mean, we talk pretty often. I mean, it's been over 30 plus years since we were 12 years old.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have somebody like that. So I couldn't imagine, how that experience, there you are, you've had a full year, you went through last season, how incredible that was just on a sports perspective. And then you get to welcome him in and show him around and be like, this is what you're coming into and here's what to expect. And then he scores that opening night. Then you get to score. Did you guys go out and celebrate, or talk about it, or just
when we score like 50 goals or we have 50 wins this year, we'll go out and celebrate.
There it is. Okay, I like that.
You will.
Yeah.
So I know we're jumping out of order here. Yeah. We can't help but have to talk about last season, and then we want to put it in a box and get it behind us. But it's still fresh.
We don't get a lot of player perspective.
So at some point, you guys realized, oh man, we have something here, like different. Yeah. When was that for you?
I think it was right when we got down to Coachella. I think we were one of the best teams. Like I said, record-wise, we were one of the best teams in the league when we got down here. And then from there, we just kind of continued to build. I think the culture that our leaders, Potty, Max, and Goose have built for us in the dressing room of hating to lose more than you like to win.
Ooh, that's my motto. Okay. Yeah. I hate losing more than I like winning. Yeah. Because you expect to win.
Absolutely. And I think that's become a very good culture in our dressing room, and just how hard this team works is some of the hardest I've seen personally, just with off-ice workouts and how long guys stay on the ice after practice just working on individual skills and stuff like that. So they've done a really good job of not just doing it themselves, but it wearing off on other guys. And from there, I think throughout the year, obviously we had some major losses with losing Potsy and guys going up to the NHL, and then Hayes goes up, and then he gets hurt up top. We just kind of had a goal in mind that we wanted to give all those guys a chance to play again this year. And those guys did a really good job of, I think Potsy beat his timeline back by almost 2 months.
Yeah, he did. I remember seeing that interview, and he said he contributed that to a lot of the trainers and a lot of the folks.
He worked
getting him back faster than he was supposed to.
Oh, way faster. And I think he could have been back faster even.
Really?
Yeah, I think it could have been a week or two earlier.
Well, he came back with a vengeance, dude.
He came back. He came back game 3 at Calgary. We played triple overtime.
I do remember.
We'll talk about that one.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we just wanted to give all those guys a chance to be able to play again this year, and with all of that, I think it gave us as a team a better chance to go all the way.
Yeah, and how was that ride? I mean, from our perspective, we talked about this multiple times on the show, but the emotional ride that we had, as much as I loved experiencing last year, it was still, we had to double down on our blood pressure medication because every round we're going to the last game. It's okay, do or die.
We got our money's worth.
Do or die.
Sure.
Do or die. Yeah. And I mean, it's fun, when you hear about that experience, you see it on TV when those happen, but we lived it, you know, and then so, going through all that, had you ever gone through anything like that?
No, that was my first professional playoffs experience.
Really?
Personally, last year, yeah.
What a ride.
So that was my 5th year pro, and that was my first
kidding
set of playoffs,
I mean, there's no doubt that you guys, as is typical in hockey, you stepped it up, right?
Yeah.
In the regular season, we could tell, there was this kind of baseline of excellence you had.
Yeah.
But then you would kind of play up or down to your opponent, right? Yeah. If Calgary was in town, you guys were playing up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When Bakersfield was in town, no disrespect to the Condors, it was like it's fucking vacation, right? And we noticed it, but come playoff time, it was on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
It was every period of every game was more intense than the one before.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? I know it doesn't just happen. How does that, what do you guys do to create that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a different beast. I don't really know how to explain it. You just, we went into that last weekend. I think we played in Bakersfield and we lost both games, and we knew we were coming back and we were going to have to play Tucson during the week for our first series, and we kind of just swept those losses under the rug because there's nothing you can do now, and it is a brand new season. There's nothing you can do about those games. So, yeah, I think, like I said, our leadership group did a good job of preparing us as best as they could, working on individual skills and getting guys at the pace that we needed to be at, because the pace definitely picks up throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
And a credit to our strength coach and our trainers too for having us and our bodies in good positions to be able to play until the end of June last year.
Well, you played more games than anybody.
Yeah, I played every regular season game, every playoff game, and I played if you count the 2 exhibition games, I played 100 hockey games.
And if you count that triple overtime, that's
another
game.
101, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. Then I'm assuming that's the most you've ever played in a season.
Oh, not even
Absolutely.
close, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Holy cow.
if you're enjoying this episode as much as we enjoyed doing it, please remember to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to hit that subscribe button too. And remember, turn on alerts so you never miss an episode. And last but not least, take a moment to share the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast with your Firebirds family and friends and anybody who loves our birds as much as you do. As always, the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast is brought to you by Kyle Garman Realtor. Whether you're buying or selling, Kyle Garman and his team at Keller Williams have you covered. Visit him at kylegarman.kw.com. And by desertdefenselawyers.com, DUI and criminal defense throughout the Coachella Valley. Attorney David Gibbett has been working hard to keep folks out of the penalty box since 2008. Now, let's get back to it. So,
Holy cow.
of the first season, because I do want to put it behind us because we got, it's a new life, but was there one moment, one memory, one thing that's going to go with you for the rest of your life?
I don't know if it's really one moment. I think it's just thinking about it all. Like, there were so many different things. Like, we knew Tucson was going to kind of be a decent team with a lot of skill, but we knew we were the better team. We have to go to game 3 against them. I think it was just us overcoming every battle and every opponent and just being able to turn it over like it was nothing to the next one every single time. Even Milwaukee in the conference finals, we're up 2-0. We go into Milwaukee, we lose those next 2 games. It's a totally different series. I think we were down in game 5 and we came back and won, and I mean, the tide's totally switched. Unfortunately, obviously, things didn't go our way in the finals, but I think just the adversity that we went through, I think I saw a stat on one of the AHL sites that the most elimination games ever won by a team, I think we were tied for first or second with 6 or 7 of them last year. So I think that's something that I think of personally. When I get into the big games now, I'll be able to go back and think of what I did during that time with the Firebirds last year.
I think that was the most amazing thing. You're bringing that up because you see those teams, when that happens, it's the bend but don't break.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
when you see those teams and what you did there, I think that's part of why we fell in love with you guys. I mean, we got to, your personality started to come out more and more. We talked about the first meet and greet where, we didn't know you guys. You're showing up and we're just like, hey, how's it going? Right? It was kind of like, we don't know. And then I remember the second where you guys actually hung around at the arena and signed autographs. It was like middle of the season.
Yeah.
It was a lot different. The feel was different.
Yep.
We got a sense of who you were and your personalities. We got to see your play. But I think overall, it was that gritty, when we need to win, we're going to find a way to win.
Absolutely.
And you did it.
Yeah.
And you can't help but fall in love with a team like that. You can't help but respect a team like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the magic of last season. It wasn't just how we got or that we got there, but it was how we got there and how many times.
Exactly
right. And when you talk about that, that's the stuff that I remember.
Yeah.
As a fan.
Yeah.
I'm like, I will never forget that season because of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it needed to happen. You guys showed up. And obviously, no one's going to fault anybody for the result that happened, in the finals, because pucks fall in and things happen. Weird stuff happens.
Yep. Everything happens for a reason. And I strongly believe that. And I'm really excited to see where this year's team goes. Obviously, we got a long ways to go and a lot of building to go through, but I think we got some really key pieces that will help us go a long
for sure.
ways.
So to put season 1 in a box and then never talk about it again.
I'm sure we will, though.
You said it, right? There was something magical about it, something different, something once in a lifetime about it. The series ends the way it ends, and you just said you got to put it behind you.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you put that?
Tough.
I mean, I get it, but how did you put that behind you?
I mean, to be honest with you, I really haven't. I still think about it to this day. I think there are times on the ice where I've talked to my mental strength coach about it. I just get little visions of stuff that happened in Game 7, even in certain areas of the ice where I'm like, man, like I just gotta wash that away. It's like
Yeah, but you can't do that, right?
It's traumatizing.
You
for
can't
sure.
do that. You can't. We watch every minute of every inch of that game.
Yeah.
And there's not a single thing that I would say, even behind your back, that you should have done or could have done or anyone could have done.
No way.
That puck bounced.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's just some shit that happens, right? And that's
it happens. I 100% agree with that.
But the agony afterwards. So
Yeah.
never mind the second guessing. It's just the whole. And I guess you just said it, right? You don't put it behind you. You just gather strength from it and move on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this season, man. What are you feeling? You got a good-looking, solid group that may not quite have coalesced yet, but what are you feeling? What are you thinking?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think we've got to build a lot still. I think overall, all 3 games we played this year, I think we've outplayed teams by far every game.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting pucks in the net and finding that chemistry and the right fits with everything. And I think we got a pretty good idea of, what everyone does and what everyone's going to bring. It's just where they're going to bring it and who they're going to bring it with. So I think we're just going to continue to build. There's not many negatives they can really take throughout it. We just sometimes you don't score goals, and that's
it's way
what
too
happens.
soon.
So,
I mean, it's early. We're just getting started. Because remember, we didn't get to see you guys until December.
Yeah.
So you had already kind of worked out all the kinks.
Yeah.
And when we talk about we were spoiled last year.
Yeah.
I mean, we really were. So now we never saw a preseason game.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. Oh, did you know about the blackout, by the way?
I wasn't there, but I know.
You heard about it? Riker had no clue. He was just like, what? Huh? What happened?
He was like that on a lot of questions.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I think he lives in his little bubble. I think he's in his little apartment, his little house. And
it's measured, however, because there are no tape measures involved.
He's got furniture that doesn't fit right. Stuff doesn't coordinate, but that's okay. We're learning.
Yeah.
So after I want to talk a little bit more about last night because I got 1,000 questions, right? First of all, is Driegs okay? What happened with him? I think in the interview after the game, he said he maybe got the wind knocked out. What happened down there?
He just kind of got run over by one of their guys. He was driving the net and
boom,
got a good piece of Driegs, and Driegs all good.
How's he feeling?
Great. Yeah, he was on. We practiced today, and he looked sharp as ever. So.
Good.
He had a good night last night.
Yeah, he did.
It's one goal notwithstanding, which no one was going to stop that thing. That thing came in. It's the first time ever I could hear a puck hit the back of the net.
Yeah.
Is how quiet it was and how hard that was. So, what?
He had a great game in Arizona. I mean, that was phenomenal. He had a lot of shots taken at him.
I think for any great team, I think it starts with great goaltending. So for sure to have that, and to have that trust that we've got and that we're going to gain with Driegs throughout the year.
Yeah. And look, last year being what it was, the phenomena that was Joey Decord being what it was, he's gone now.
Yep.
Driegs is our goalie now.
Yep.
He's got our trust. He's got our faith. He's got our love.
Yep.
And I hope he knows that.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope he knows that we are one. And when I say we, I'm talking about 10,000 of us are 100% behind him, and I hope he never doubts that at all.
No, he doesn't. He loves it here, and he's embracing it just as well as everyone else.
That's awesome. And I see we've got the young kid just slipped my mind. I'm sorry, the other goalie that we got brought up.
Jack LaFontaine.
Thank you, LaFontaine. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, he's got to be kind of giddy because he's just kind of figuring it out, and now I feel like people want to come here and play and now start showing out and showing their skills. How excited is he to be here?
Yeah, he's super excited. Even in practice, you can just see the excitement that he has just being around the guys, and in the dressing room, he's, trying to learn stuff, but still shoot the shit with other guys. So
good.
It's great to see, fresh faces in the dressing room and fresh meat to be able to pick on.
Let's talk about what's that look like? Can we
outside of cleaning the buses? Because we heard about that.
Other than cleaning the bus, what are the rookies doing?
I mean, the rookies really don't have that many things that they have to do. They definitely have to clean up the bus after we get back. And
so do you on purpose
No, I'm not like that.
Shit?
I sometimes I'll leave like my Reese's wrapper in the back of the seat in front of me or something like that, but no guys are spilling water on the floor or anything like that.
So I watch. I don't know if you watched the show Hard Knocks.
No, I didn't.
So it's an ongoing show. Yeah. It's on HBO, and they do it's like a documentary basically of training camp, and they do it with the NFL, right? So this last season they did it with the New York Jets, or this season they did it. Okay, it's really great. And so one of the things though, and I think you guys should think about implementing this in with the rookies, the new class that comes in, they have to perform.
I've seen so many videos of this.
You know what I'm talking about?
So when we do our rookie dinner / party, they usually have to do like a little skit or like say like a joke or something like that. But it seems like the NFL, they take it to another level.
I forget the receiver's name, but he was a rookie coming in, and he did an Eminem 8 Mile, and he did the entire song from the rap battle at the end of 8 Mile, and he nails it, and he did it so well that Eminem actually tweeted out and also reposted on Instagram because he crushed it. But yeah, a lot of these guys, I mean, they got to perform for the veterans.
Oh, there's another good one is Aiden Hutchinson with Detroit Lions. He does Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
Yes, I saw that one.
In front of the whole team in the meeting room, and the whole meeting room was just going absolutely nuts. And so I've seen a few of those. And we got to get the guys going like that.
You know what? Sure. I think there has to be a talent show. That's what it is. It's a talent show basically, and we need to bring that out. They're gonna hate me for suggesting it, but I really don't care. They can come on the show and they can hate on me.
We've done Rookie Idol before. I think we did
Rookie Idol. That's really good.
With who?
Just the rookies from last year. I think we did like our dinner and stuff in Vegas last year, and then we were busing back, and we had them singing on the bus microphone on the way back.
Who was the best singer?
I liked Petman last year. Petman was great.
Really? What did he sing?
I can't remember.
Okay. Who was the worst singer?
Probably Reichs.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Are you one of the poker players on the bus?
Yeah, I am.
I hear you're pretty good.
I'm okay.
You like Texas Hold'em?
Yeah, I love it.
What's the buy-in?
For that game, it's $100 usually.
That's not bad. Are outsiders able to play?
This guy.
I'm asking questions. That's what I do on the show. I'm not suggesting anything.
We legit only play on the bus.
Okay.
That's the only time we do it.
That's great.
I would love for us to do like a home game, like play it sometime around here, but it's so hard to get everyone together on certain nights.
I just imagine Potsy with a with a green dealer's visor on, a little toothpick in his mouth, dealing cards.
Who's talking the most trash during the? Because I play some home games. There's back in Washington. Hi guys, there's a home game still going on. It's been going on for 15 years. We play every Friday night, poker night, boys, and we always get together, and it's fun. It's a lot of trash talking though.
Yeah.
And you see kind of the competitiveness will come out, and your friends out before. Your friends after, but you're on the felt a little bit, and then it's like, how are you going to make that call? How are you going to, like, dude, it gets a little heated.
So who's the trash talker?
Who's talking the trash? Is it you?
I talk a lot of trash. I can't say I talk the most trash. So I can't say there's one guy that talks a lot of trash. I think Petman likes to talk trash, but he'll only say it to certain guys. Obviously, Potsy chirps all the time. Husey chirps all the time. Dreeks chirps all the time, and that's kind of the mainstay of players at the table. So it's not like one certain guy.
Okay.
It's like if a guy makes a bad call and they know they're beat, it'll be like, "Hey man, nice call."
That's it.
Just like subtle little,
Just real
little needles on
Okay.
guys. You know,
Who's the prankster? Who's the prankster? You guys.
no comment.
Got it. So it's
No.
you.
22 and me usually can get up to a few things. I almost got pranked today. Shout out to whoever you are. They
Really?
What was it? What was the near miss?
There was a hat above my stall, and it was just set down, face down, and I could see by the curve of the hat that there was something under the hat, and there was a cup filled with water underneath.
No
so if you
way.
pulled the hat, the water was coming right on you, and luckily I saw it. So
Wow. It
Oh,
takes
you
one to
gotta
know
get
one.
it way earlier.
Yeah,
in
it
the
takes one to know one.
But there was definitely someone else. Max was actually possibly the one being targeted for it and not me. It was his hat above my stall. So I don't know anything else that happened after that. So
Who's Riker was telling us that last season someone was texting cat facts
Yeah.
to him.
Yeah, it was Eddie. Eddie. This is unbelievable. I don't know if he told the whole story right. So I had this prank actually happen to me once. I got 2 texts and I blocked the number right away. I don't know if it was Riker or Henny. I think it was Henny.
Oh, maybe it was
getting
Henny,
the text.
yeah.
And Eddie was so Riker didn't save Eddie's number in his phone, so every single day Eddie would send just a random fact about a cat. Like he would just search stuff on the internet every single day. And Henny,
And you guys are all in on it, right?
oh yeah, everybody knew about him. And so we finally got him going enough that he was like telling us in the dressing room. He was super excited to tell us the cat fact of the day every single day.
Oh, so it became
How
a
did
thing.
you keep a straight face?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. There are definitely multiple times that I'd laughed throughout it. And with all of that, we had our Halloween party. And you know, like the guy that wears like the long gray shirt, the toque, and he holds like just the cardboard sign above his head that says like, I don't know, like it says like just random stuff about the public on it. Eddie did that as his costume, but the cardboard sign was, Henny, I'm Cat Facts.
Yes. What a great,
So that's
great
where it
maneuver.
Oh, I
came
love
through.
that.
Is that part of the? So it sounds to me. I mean, that kind of stuff. Again, you guys are brothers. It's a fraternity at this point. Is this the most fun you're having as as a professional?
I have a blast. Absolutely.
It's not even
I
like
mean,
work, is it?
No, it doesn't feel like work at all. Being able to do something you love, and I know you can attest for that, is the best job in the world. It's just not even realizing that it's work, and it feels so good to be able to do it.
Even on your bad days,
Absolutely.
I
You
get
just
it.
feel
It's okay.
so lucky to do what you do.
Do you find yourself just smiling for no reason because you get to do what you get to do?
Yeah. I mean, there are days where you go to practice, and then for me, being able to go to the golf course after, it's like, man, this is
Unreal.
pretty special that I got paid to go into the rink today, and now I get to golf after.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is
Do you have a go-to spot that you like to? I know you guys go to Classic a
not
lot.
really.
because
I
it's
think
right
Classic
there.
Club's just easy, just
Right
because it's
there.
right there. Last year, probably my favorite one last year. We got up to Stone Eagle a couple times, and that was pretty cool. That was one of my favorites last year for sure.
Do you drink beer off the cart at Classic?
From time to time,
Tip that girl well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's his daughter.
Tip her. That's my daughter.
It's his
Oh,
daughter.
really?
Right?
Yeah.
He's plugging family left
I'm
and right.
trying to get it,
I know it's great though. You know, we do that from time to time on the show. We'll plug some things. Try to get in on some games.
Dude, we've talked about, now Kyle hates when I look at my watch, but we've been here a hot minute. I just want to make sure that how we're doing on time. You still good on time?
I don't have time restraints. It
Okay.
just gets a little distracting from time to time. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
What's your experience out there in the rink? You know, when you're seeing the fans. I mean, what's your take on everybody out there bringing that heat and bringing all that energy and
It's awesome. I mean, we love it.
how does that enhance the play?
it just makes everyone's energy, I think, no matter what game of the season it is, where we are, I think the energy is just brought up another level just by being able to have the fans be rowdy. And
like last night, it was a Wednesday night, and the place was packed.
Yeah,
we were rocking.
And that's unusual in the AHL anyway, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And even I was like,
I looked around too, and I was proud.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was proud. I like looking around, and I do that. And, look at my wife, and I said, "Look, babe," I said, "It's full." I mean, you could tell there's certain spots, but you're like, I mean, our section, shout out 106, as we normally do. We bring the heat. We like to, but we also know every section has their own nuances, and they're bringing their things. And I think that's, really you guys were a big part of that.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not, from a fan perspective and from the enjoyment that we have, because of last season, we feel like now there's a bond.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys feel that in the same respect.
No, I feel it for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, the journey that we were on, not knowing who you were, not knowing what we had as a product, as a team, the coaches, everybody, we're all getting to know each other. And then to go through what we went through last season, it really does feel like there's a connection. Yeah. And so when we see you guys now, especially now we're in the new season, and we know what to expect, and we know how to act, and we know the culture, which is a great word. That's something that we talk a lot about now, is because, like you said, with those other guys setting the tone, creating a culture. There's a culture across the board on how to play hockey there in the building, and as a fan base, there's a culture for us.
Oh yeah, you can feel
how to show
for
up.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think again, you guys. You're so stinking special. I mean, seriously, the way you guys showed up last season, the way you conducted yourselves, the way you were with us, allowing us in, being transparent, and then busting your ass game after game, feeling that it just, man, it was special.
Yeah.
So the last serious thing, then we're going to get to rapid fire. I think it's time to do that. But
yes, sir.
Dovetailing on what you were saying, do you have any idea, and when I mean you, I mean all the team, do you guys have any idea what you've done for this valley?
Yeah, not really. We get told that a lot of places, though, and it feels awesome to
Well, then
feel
allow me
that.
just to tell you then,
All right.
since you don't know. Before this team and this thing came here, we were just another bunch of cities that were next to each other. And very rapidly, as the season progressed, more and more shirts, more and more hats, more and more license plate frames, getting in on the action. That's great, whatever, it's fine. But then you start seeing people at the market, and you start seeing people at in the workspace, for me in the courthouse, wherever you are. And I wear a lapel pin on my suit jacket. And it's people now that would never have stopped to talk to each other are now talking to each other. People that never would have otherwise probably met have now become friends.
Yep.
And saying that the team brought the Valley together is not just something to say because it sounds good. It actually happened.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody, maybe outside of the Oakview group, had any idea that would actually happen. That's what they sold. But that's what they delivered. That's what happened. Yeah. You were and are and continue to be a part of that. Do you guys have any do you guys ever talk about that, or you just?
I think with the culture we built in the dressing room, I think it just, like you guys said, it carries over to everything else, and we want to be something that people that can be proud of, and we want to be able to show out every single night, put our hearts on the line, and go out there and do what we can to put on a show for everyone, but at the same time be one of the best hockey teams in the league.
Do you follow any of the there's a bunch of different Facebook groups and whatever and social media? Do you follow any of those and see what people are actually saying?
I definitely see a lot of stuff about them for sure, and there's just a buzz about every
none
single
of it's
thing.
negative.
It doesn't go. It's never negative,
negative,
and nothing goes unnoticed. I find too.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, even in the off season, there was people were still talking.
Yeah.
Again, Dave and I.
Yeah.
even after it ended, we would always stay in contact with each other. And that happened, throughout, I think most people's shared experience was they were staying in contact with each other. So before we get to rapid fire, who are some of your, who are your guys now? Like, you bonded with quite a few, so who are your guys? And who are your influences?
Like on the team?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I really, I'd say Potty is one of my best friends overall. I spend a lot of time with Hughesy too, but I can't say there's one or two guys that, or even a small group of guys that I am better friends with or would want to spend more time with certain guys than other guys, because I love the whole group that we have in the dressing room.
That's awesome.
And I think that's something special that we had last year that we want to carry over onto this year for sure.
And that's, I think, the neat part of the roster and the coaching staff. I talk about it a lot, but it's true. Them coming back, majority of you guys coming back, and then we get to see some fresh faces, and they get to be integrated, and you guys get to teach them the way. Even Riker gets to show them the way a little bit. Now he gets to pass on his wisdom and a little things like that, and we just pay it forward. And I think that's really the cool part for us, going into this new season, was that it was sweet. We lost a few guys. Some guys, they graduated, if you will. They went up and they're staying put, which is great.
That's
good for them.
And I'll tell you what I've told them, and we don't want them back.
Yeah.
Right? That's where they belong.
Yeah.
And I told this to Riker. I'll tell it to you, man. We love having you here.
God, yes.
But if you get called up, we don't want you back.
Yeah. If you
Right?
stay,
We want you up there. The next time we see you, we want you to be hoisting the cup. Right?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
We want you moving onward and upward. It'll be just like you enjoying the moment here. We're going to enjoy the moment with you and whoever else. But we want you guys to chase your dream and get it and reach it.
Yeah, and that's fun for us too when we get to see like what Joey and Kartsy's doing up there right now, and to say, but they were here. They were part of the
100%.
Birds. Like that. That's the cool part for us. And so, and that is the natural progression. I think that's just the neatest thing. So
Rapid fire, baby.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, man. Are you ready for this?
Let's
so this
do
is
it.
how we end the show. We do some rapid fire questions. It's nothing crazy, but just don't think. Don't
Just answer.
don't overthink this,
All
man.
right.
It's real easy. You got this. What's your go-to food at the arena? Concessions wise.
Concession wise.
Have you ever eaten at the concessions?
I've never eaten at the concessions, but I love a good burger.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a great chicken.
They got good burgers.
They do.
Yeah.
So this
Just
lead.
saying.
What's your go-to meal in the Valley or restaurant?
Restaurant? Oh, that's a tough question. I like Portavia. Portavia is really good.
That seems to be.
Popular.
Well, you guys were there not too long ago.
Yeah.
That's your go-to spot, isn't it?
Yeah, we go there as a team most of the times that we have team meals or team functions.
What's your order?
I like just the filet there, or, the rigatoni. I tend to kind of stay on either steak or pasta most of the time.
How do you like your steak?
Just medium rare.
Had a baby. What's on your radio come game day? So it's game day. You're in your truck.
In the morning, just country. I'm pretty standard with that. On the way to the rink, there's a mix on SoundCloud. It's called Down Under Country Mix, and it's basically, if you've listened to a Big Booty mix, it's country music.
Big Booty Mix.
I'm going to have to look that up.
You have to listen to it.
But on somebody else's computer, because I
will.
don't want all the ads. And if I start looking at big booties, I don't want to see what ads
it's
come
just
up on
like,
my feed.
it's just like popular songs with like a few bass drops, basically.
That's
mixed in
great.
With it for like an hour straight, and instead it's country music. with
Okay.
a couple
And that
bass
gets you
drops.
going.
Got it.
That gets me where I need to be.
Okay. No judgments. What's your treat yourself day look like for Kole Lind?
Meal wise, I probably like Chick-fil-A, and I definitely like a crumble cookie or two every once in a while.
Crumble cookie. Nice. Are you a DC or an MCU guy?
What?
Love it.
See,
Nah.
not
MCU.
one person yet. Oh, you know what that means?
I get it now.
Okay. Not
MCU.
one person has gotten
He
that.
didn't
at
hit
first.
me right away.
But,
MCU.
but actually, he got
now I
it.
Yeah.
He got it.
Got it,
So
okay.
he did get it. So
Got
he's an MCU guy. Great. Who's your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Nice.
Why?
I don't know. I like the Spider-Man movies, and it's just like, especially the recent ones with, what is it, Tom Holland. He's pretty fun. Like, they're pretty funny movies. I like
They're
them
good.
overall.
Yeah, they're well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up watching. There was a series on TV.
Mm-hmm.
This is when I was younger. So you probably were. Yeah. Anyway,
You
there was a
weren't-
TV
you weren't-
show back
you
in the
weren't even
day.
thought of yet.
There was a TV show back in the day, and I used to watch it all the time, and it was Spider-Man, and
Yeah.
it was really cool. All right, so what other profession other than what you're doing now would you have to have tried or done?
Golf, for sure. I'm a pretty decent golfer, but I just watch professional golfers' lifestyle, and I would love to be able to travel the world and just play golf courses everywhere.
Yeah, they're not struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't really touch on tennis talk much, but that seems to be kind of the reoccurring
popular
answer
answer.
was
Yeah,
a
for
golfer,
sure.
a golfer, like, okay, we get it, guys. Like, but there's got to be something else out there that maybe you would like to try or done. But that's okay. If you want to be a golfer, bro, it's cool.
We have a family farm back home, so if that counts too,
It does count.
Definitely after hockey,
Farmer?
that's definitely something that I'm gonna be looking.
Dude, that totally
to
counts.
look into is
Heck yeah.
farming for sure.
Yeah, that's not an easy lifestyle,
Yeah.
but it's a good lifestyle. So you're a country boy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm kind of well removed from it, but yes, absolutely. At heart, I am.
It's in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Last question. What's your favorite curse word?
Wait, parents, if you're listening in
This
the
is
car,
the disclaimer part.
this is the time to turn the volume down.
Yep.
Fuck.
It's strong, right?
Because
Yeah,
you can use it
it's-
in
yeah,
so
you
many
can
ways,
use it.
right?
In any sentence, in any part of the sentence, you can just.
It just lands.
Sometimes I
so
use it in a
strong.
sentence while I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next, just to fill in the space.
Yeah, it gives you a second.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's in Boston. That seems to be. It's just a filler.
Yeah.
In Boston, that's what it is. It's just a filler because they're just thinking the next thing to say. So it's also just to get you the next word. So I think that's how it works.
All right, so it's just for everyone to listen. Today is what, Thursday, right?
Today's Thursday.
It's the 26th. You're heading up tomorrow to San Jose.
Yep.
Give the Barracuda a little run for their money. Where do you sit on the plane?
Wherever the team assigns me, basically.
Oh, yeah, I meant to ask.
I'm
is
a
it-
window seat guy if I have a choice, though. Absolutely.
on the jet it's a 737 was the last one I saw. I guess you get whatever they send you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Is there like a first class section? And if so, who gets to sit in that thing?
Um,
Or is it all just one seat
they
type?
were all just normal from what I can remember, but on Seattle's plane, like it's all first class seats all the way down.
All of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got it.
Got to be, baby.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the plane, but now that we're back to the regular season, we'll be going over to Palm Springs International Airport and flying out from there.
Yeah,
and
we'll
doing
Yeah.
the whole thing.
we'll be stalking on FlightAware. And
Yeah,
Like we did last time.
when let's talk about that real quick.
I know we did the rapid fire. Now we're
Yeah,
at a
I
turn
know
here,
now,
but
so, I'll edit it and then we can switch it out. So last year you're flying back from Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
And that was, I think, the first time fans had ever greeted you at the airport.
Yeah, that was unreal.
What was that like? And did you know that was going to happen?
I had no idea. Yeah, I mean, that was so cool. We kind of got off the plane. We all got into our vehicles, and we just see the parking lot flooded with fans. And, I mean, that was kind of one of those moments where you felt the effect of what we were doing for the Valley and, how we were bringing it together. And that made us definitely feel very special.
And that just started organically. That was
Yeah.
like one Facebook post that turned into that. So
Yeah. No, I don't know how many other teams other than when Hershey went back after they won got greeted from the planes. After
yeah, but they
won
had to
that
win to
series.
do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just had to show up.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
any
pretty
other
cool.
teams would have got greeted by fans. So,
well, that's awesome, man. Dude, I really appreciate you taking the time.
no, absolutely.
I
That's
hope
the least I could do.
we always ask our guests, but at some point, would you be willing to come back and do this again?
Oh, yeah. I would love to be a recurring guest.
I know we got to get one thing on record though.
Hmm.
Earlier this week, somebody slept in
Yeah.
and promised.
We're not naming names.
Yeah, we're not naming names.
I'll get you someone.
Okay.
I'll get you some.
Okay, you're on record now. You're on record.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you know what? Him being the lawyer, he's
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
stickler
now
about
he's got
these
me for
things.
sure,
You know
yeah.
what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's criminal defense, so
Yeah, no, it is what it is.
Absolutely.
No, but man,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
this was
Good
the
to see
best.
ya.
This was the best. I really
We'll
appreciate
see
you.
We'll see you around the glass.
Can we get a go birds?
For me?
Yeah. Do you
From
have
you.
like a good
Like
let's
a
go
good one,
Firebirds
like,
or
own
go
it.
birds? Like,
It'll be on TikTok. So
whatever's good for you.
Careful how you handle that mic.
Let's go Firebirds.
Oh, That's really.
pretty
That was the
good.
first
That's
time.
just like after we score, you know.
Yeah, that's really good.
All
Go
right,
Birds.
All right, go Birds.
All right.
Let's go.
Dude, that was fun.
Really, that was unreal.
Well, that was fun. If you're enjoying the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast on YouTube, be sure to drop a comment down below and hit that like button. Also, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out when a new episode drops. The Firebirds Fan Zone podcast is available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and a whole bunch of other podcast platforms. So, however you get your weekly dose of the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast, we invite you to share it across all your socials. And you can follow us on Instagram at Firebirds Fan Zone Podcast. And on Facebook, just search, guess what? Firebirds Fan Zone Podcast. The Firebirds Fan Zone Podcast is brought to you by Kyle Garman Realtor. Whether you're buying or selling, whether it's for your forever home or that quiet desert vacation getaway, Kyle Garman and the team at Keller Williams have the experience and skill to make that process simple and convenient. Check them out today at kylegarman.kw.com. Our podcast is also brought to you by desertdefenselawyers.com. DUI and criminal defense throughout the Coachella Valley. The criminal justice system is scary and confusing, but relief is just a click away at desertdefenselawyers.com. We've been keeping folks out of the penalty box since 2008.